Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan here, and time for a hot take. But before I give it a hot take, give me a shout out to my books, Woke Standard Novel and The Pineys, books 1, 2, 3, and 4, available. Kindle Unlimited for free, ebooks and trade paperbacks at very affordable prices. Just go to Amazon.com. All right, so I got a story to tell you using my screenwriter skills. So, what would you think of a character who was, let's say, a Republican politician? He's a guy, say someone like me, but a little younger, more handsome, if you can possibly imagine that. And he gets elected in a red state, but in a district that sort of flips back and forth. He flipped it from blue to red. And he is on the fast track in the Republican Party. The leadership is watching him and moving him up and giving him choice things. And he is on the fast track, right? And then scandal. You see, turns out he was sleeping with one of his staffers, along with his wife. And when this is related to the public, he says, well, we have an open relationship. This is a polyamorous situation. The three of us go out together. We have a three-way relationship. And then it turns out the wife is divorcing the husband, and nude pictures of him leak on the internet, and one particularly creepy one where he's naked combing the hair of the staffer, and another one where he has a bong and tattoos and very tender areas, and he's dancing and smoking pot, apparently. What would you think of that character? Would you think that's a stand-up character? Would you think that's a stand-up guy? You'd probably say, no, that character is a total pig. That character's probably, the worst human being in the world. Probably pressured that staffer into sleeping with him and his wife, let's be honest. And just a total scumbag of a human being. And that the Republicans would even defend him for a moment shows you how little they care for anything other than power. Right. Except, see, I changed part of the story if you're not familiar with it. This is a story about Katie Hill, who was the congresswoman for the 25th District of California. And she flipped a red district blue. And she and her husband had sex with a staffer, and she is the one who was in the naked photos. Very hot, naked, but creepy naked photos, in my view, creepy, of her combing the hair of the staffer and dancing with a bong and a little iron cross tattoo right next to her hoo-ha. And she was on the fast track. She was being groomed by Pelosi. She was probably going to be like the fifth member of the squad, if not the leader of the squad, because Pelosi wanted to keep her in the loop. So why did the Democrats defend this woman? Why did they defend her? Why did they give credence to this ridiculous story that, oh, she's in a three-way relationship. She's in a modern relationship. You shouldn't pick on her. Why wouldn't you just look at her and say what she is? In my view, she's a total pig. She's an animal who used her position of power to bang one of her staffers, one of her young staffers, and man, is that picture of her combing or brushing the hair creepy. It's a creepy picture. Mainly because the other girl's dressed, almost like she was sitting there naked, like, oh, come here, dear, come here. Let me fix your hair. It's weird, man. It's weird. And the Democrats really, really embarrassed themselves by even defending this woman. They should not have defended her. They should have thrown her right under the bus. Al Franken, whose actions were questionable at best at a time when he was an outrageous comedian from Saturday Night Live, that guy right under the bus, no problem. But Katie Hill, who is obviously banging and openly admits she's banging one of her own staffers, Oh yeah, we got to put up with that. This is part of a long history that the Democrats have of having no limits, right? So if you can't define what a relationship is, then everything's a relationship. This three-way was a relationship. But I'd say it clearly was not. I mean, the husband was unhappy. He divorced her. Yeah, I mean, he might have enjoyed, having sex with two women at once, but come on. Come on. This woman her appetite is voracious to do this and to be supposedly a public servant. The fact that Pelosi was putting her on the fast track, she had just gotten elected. This wasn't a person who had been a congresswoman for years and had experience. This was a young, fresh new face, but because she was female, Pelosi has to fast track her, get her into the squad. Maybe she could get the squad under control. No, this is what happens when you pick people based on their gender and not based on their ability, based on their race, not based on their ability. She had not proven one iota of anything other than having a voracious appetite for sex and power, apparently. Ilhan Omar, in my view, is no better. She is divorcing her husband, who may or may not have been her brother, because she wanted to help him get to the country. I don't think she's having sex with her brother. I think she may have tried to help her brother get into the country, or someone who is, maybe technically her brother. Which I'm surprised she doesn't just admit, because I think her base would totally be down for that. But it is illegal, so whatever. But here she is now marrying a man who was in a married relationship. She was having an affair with him while, run around the country doing things that she's supposed to do as a public servant. Why do we have these people? Why would we put up with anybody who would bring their ridiculous drama into public life, into the public sphere? I don't want my congressman or senator or anybody who represents me to waste even 1 second of my bought and paid for time doing that kind of nefarious crap. Because first off, cheating on your spouse can get you killed. All right? I mean, it can get you killed. People do not take that kind of stuff well. They snap. They kill themselves. They kill other people. It is bad. You cannot... Anybody who would just sort of say, oh, it's no big deal, those people are, well, they're kind of heartless. They're kind of heartless bastards. So I would not trust these people to rule anyone or policy. If they would look someone in the eye and tell them that I love you while sneaking out to go bang somebody else who they really love, they are capable of anything. They are capable of saying, well, the 10% of the population dies. That should be fine. Yeah, that's the kind of decision making they are capable of. If they're capable of just telling the people they supposedly love a bold-faced lie right into their face. So, the Democratic Party could have distanced themselves from this woman, but they first should, I should say, go back to a merit-based system. Not a, hey, let's get a woman of color up here. Hey, let's get more women up here. Okay, well, this is the kind of quality of people you're going to get. You're not going to get the best qualified. You're just going to get the most, ambitious, the most ruthless. I mean, to some extent, you get that with politics anyway, but, this was a nightmare. I say thank God she was exposed and driven out. And her district, by the way, had to go through a special election and has been flipped back to red. A Republican won the seat. And more importantly, for the 2020 election, he won by a pretty big margin. Republican voters came out in very strong force, and Democrats are demoralized and did not come out. And some of the pundits I watch, including Sticks and Hammer, are saying this could, be a sign of what's to come in the general election in 2020. Republicans energized, Democrats demoralized. And they are demoralized because of behavior like Katie Hill. Now, if Katie Hill had been in her 40s, let's say, of 45, and had a long, stellar record of amazing policy and accomplishments, then yeah, maybe you could go to the wall for her and say, well, look at our accomplishments. We're not just going to throw that away. We're going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But this was a new face. The only thing she had going for her was, hi, I'm young and beautiful. So there was no other reason to go to bat for her, really, other than, well, this was her personal life. How illegal is it? Is it illegal? I don't know. I don't think so. But I think it's pretty shameful for a public servant, at least, and for someone who, to go after a staffer. It'd be different if this was someone outside her staff, someone who was just, I don't know, some rando that they knew, and okay, so whatever, no one cares. But that certainly would have come out in your nasty divorce, which I assume is nasty. But, you maybe could have weathered that. But you can't weather it when it's one of your staffers. That is the height of hypocrisy. That is the height of using your power and influence to, it's just what Bill Clinton did, right? I mean, look, I don't think Monica Lewinsky was assaulted. I think she was totally fine with what happened between her and the president. And quite frankly, I don't even care. But, he was in the position of power, and he did use it against someone who, she didn't really have a lot of power. So if you're looking for what's going to happen in 2020, again, I say look to England and look to what happened to the Labour Party, and they are in trouble. They are way, way, way out of power. And you're going to see a similar move this November, barring some epic, shift, war, or something. I think you're going to see the Democrats just get wiped out in a bunch of states. Definitely going to flip a bunch of the flip states are going to flip all red. And a handful of states that never flipped red or haven't flipped red in decades are going to flip red. It's going to be punishing for the Democrats, and it should be. It should be. It's time to send them a strong message. I don't really care who you vote for in 2020, but if you vote for Democrats at this point, there are very, very few Democrats who have tried to rise above any of this. Tulsi Gabbard did, but she's leaving. Even she's leaving. But beyond that, these people have ruined their party, just ruined it in so many different ways, between the corruption and the toying with socialism and the just sheer mismanagement of everything. A lot of that goes on Nancy Pelosi's shoulders, but at least you can say about her, you don't have, other than that her district is San Francisco and it's kind of a shithole. There's no, overt thing. She's still pretty traditional, but she's also really old. So hopefully she's going to retire very soon, because quite frankly, the Democrats desperately need new leadership, some leadership that maybe actually is about doing their job and setting the limits and saying, this is what we're about, and not just saying, well, elect us, we're not Republican.